To hit the beach, the only place to read your emails and your tweets. It's Monday, October 17th, and this is another No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, is Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, we got the bearded one, Matapsha Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey-yo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, share the show. PYP, baby. Play your part.
Okay.
Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. That's what we're doing on today's Beach Step, and read in your emails and your tweets. This week's No Dunk schedule, it's a doozy. The NBA season starts tomorrow night.
Can you
is that
believe
weird? It doesn't feel like it is to me, but it does. But we got a lot of shows coming at you from the Classic Factory. Tomorrow, we're going to do some NBA tiers. Both the East and the West, breaking them down. Who's tier 1? Is there a 1A and 1B?
Oh,
Tier 2?
those tears.
Yeah.
Well,
Those not crying tears.
tear ducts.
Saying the saddest things we can think about this
oh, you want to do
season.
that instead?
Yeah, bring your saddest potential moment to the podcast.
Okay. There'll be a form of tears tomorrow, live at 10 a.m. Eastern here from the Classic Factory. Later in the day, no bunts, with Tass breaking down the latest in the... What was that? What do you call that? Division series?
That's right. Yeah, they'll be over tonight when the Yankees lose to the Guardians. So we'll update you on the championship series coming up.
You're calling your shot, are you?
It's tough. It's tough with the Bloop Brigade, as they're called by the Athletic. The Guardians.
Okay.
They bloop you to death.
Wow.
No dingers. But they'll get it done.
Okay.
They'll get it done against the Yankees.
Okay, so that's no bunts tomorrow.
That's a Grant Brisbee special.
Oh,
I do
love
believe.
it.
The Bloop Brigade. So good.
That's good. Then in the afternoon tomorrow at around 3:30 p.m. Eastern, the Athletic NBA show, they're doing a live stream to get everybody hyped for the NBA season. A couple of us are going to jump on that.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be joining their cast of characters, the Athletic NBA show. We'll be tweeting out all this. And then, this is new, we're going to give it a go. A little pregame stream to get you hyped for Sixers Celtics, the first game on TNT tomorrow night. So around 6:45, No Dunks. We'll just go live on YouTube. It won't be a podcast. Come hang with us as we go over our last-minute thoughts before the actual season starts. So busy day.
A lot.
On Tuesday.
We'll be crying. We'll be basket buds. Then we'll take a Sir Foster, quick pregame stream, and we'll be ready to go.
That's right. And hitting dingers. Don't forget
Oh,
that.
I forgot about the dings.
Yeah.
No, we're blooping it, baby.
Okay.
Yeah. No homers.
And then the rest of the week, once Wednesday hits, it's into the Daily Show, live at 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, quickly turned into a podcast. The drop on Friday. We've got Is This Good? What else? Survivor recap podcast with no buffs. So, my God.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Lots and shows. But we got great questions here, and we got new merch to celebrate the new NBA season. Because I just told you how busy the Classic Factory is. I mean, production just through the roof right now. So we've got to celebrate with these Classic Factory, the neon signed shirts. We're showing them to everybody on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, go to nodunks.com and look at the new merch. Because not only do we have shirts with the neon sign available on black and purple, and you can get them in hoodie form if you want as well, but we also have mugs.
Hey.
Ha-ha! That's a nice
Black mug.
Yeah. You don't see it often.
How do you take your coffee mug?
Yeah, black. That's right. And this is new. We're trying out some hats. Yes, the Classic Factory hat. Dad hat.
That hat.
So go grab that if you want. All of this available at nodunks.com. Look at Trey rocking it. He's got the sample.
That's right.
How's it feel? It looks actually awesome on you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think it looks pretty good, too.
Yeah.
It's Wear Pink Week at school for my girls, so I felt I was playing my part as well. It also kind of reminds me of, like, what Bret the Hitman Hart would wear. This could be, like, Hart Foundation gear as well.
Yeah. The best there is.
Black and...
Best there was. And the best there ever will be.
Oh, maybe we should start marketing the podcast as that. Hey.
Can we do that? Would Bret the Hitman Hart put us in a sharpshooter?
Tap dance for a while. I'm going to check the trademark office with the United States government here.
We did have some big news over the NBA weekend as well. The Warriors made 2 huge commitments on Saturday by signing Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole to separate 4-year contract extensions. Wiggins' deal reportedly worth about $109 million, so he's taking a pay cut.
He is.
Which is interesting. And then Poole reportedly will receive $123 million in guaranteed money, with the chance to make another $17 million in incentives over the life of the deal. So for 109 Wiggins, for 140, that's what the headline says for Poole. But as I just said, it's really 123, and then you got the incentives. What do you think about these? Shocked at all with the amount Poole got there, with Wiggins, what he's doing, and then what this all means maybe for Draymond?
Yeah, the big thing is what it means for Draymond, because I expected with the Warriors how they pay guys to pay Wiggins and Poole. I guess when you see them back-to-back, the 2 guys who celebrated the championship and were in the locker room saying to each other, hey, you're going to get a bag. You're going to get a bag. They both got bags on the exact same day. Poole has handled the Draymond sucker punch very, very well. He has come in, basically not said anything to disrupt the chemistry, has been balling. And they believe that he is going to be a great player. To pay him $123 guaranteed, just a little more than the Tyler Hero contract, just a little more, because you're that good, plus $17 million, along with the Wiggins deal, who I think, as you said, a little bit of a cut. He feels good in Golden State. I went back and looked at an interview when I interviewed him in Minnesota. It was just a quick little soundbite, just a quick little interview, and not to say he was unhappy in Minnesota, but in this interview, he wasn't happy.
No, he's talking to you.
Yeah, that's true. But there was a lot of pressure there. And I was
during the interview?
I wasn't pressurizing Andrew Wiggins. I was asking about loonies and bagged milk, as you often do with the Canadian. The only questions you can ask a Canadian. I asked him if he was going to be a dunk contest. He just shook his head. I don't think he said no. I think he just shook his head, and I had to answer. I will say though, he was paid a ton in Minnesota, so he got his due, and he was the number 1 guy there, and he feels better in this role here. The question is what this means for Draymond. He's guaranteed this year, and then a player option for the next year, and honestly what this means for Klay, because he has 2 more guaranteed years as well. Because if they're paying Poole, and they're paying Curry, and they're paying Wiggins, and they're paying Looney, those other guys are going to have to take a pay cut. Dre and Klay are going to have to take a pay cut, because you could replace Dre with, in theory, not as good a player, but the James Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody trio, and be a heck of a lot cheaper because they're paying these other guys a lot more. Yeah. And yeah, the fact is Dre is going to be 35 when these 2 years are done, and so is Klay. So unless Dre and Klay are going to take a pay cut, this is the last dance-ish, especially for Dre, who's not guaranteed that second year. So I think he's going to be a professional this season. You said, Trey, last week that this is last dance kind of feel. I think he'll be into it, but long-term, if he's going to be there, it's got to be a pay cut.
Oh, absolutely right. Tim Kawakami mentions in his piece breaking down the ins and outs of everything on The Athletic. Subscribe at theathletic.com/nodunks. $123 million, basically, for their guard rotation of Steph, Klay, and now Poole. As Tim says, the stage is being set for Draymond to depart this team in July or earlier.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. I like that he adds in the quite frankly as well. So I guess the question will be, does Draymond at the end of this season, when he's getting to be like 33 years old, does he value having the long years ahead of him over taking a pay cut? Like, if you can find a way to take a pay cut the way Andrew Wiggins did and still somehow make $109 million, that's a solid pay cut. Just a solid $100 million deal that's pitched as a pay cut. Yeah. But I'm with you. I think the development specifically of Wiseman is massive for the Warriors this season, because that will give them a little bit of an idea of if they want to try the next era to really go forward without Draymond. It's hard to imagine them without Draymond. He's the most indispensable guy outside of Steph Curry. Obviously, the writing on the wall is there for Klay, like you're saying, Tass, but the good thing is he's signed for next season as well, too. He's expensive, but it would cost them probably a player to trade him away because his contract is so big. So they'll likely keep him because they're going to want to keep the young guys as well. But this does feel like we're coming to the end of the Steph, Klay, and Draymond era of the Warriors. That being said, if you win a back-to-back title, it's kind of hard to walk away from that.
Yeah, it's an important piece to all of this. How they do this season, how he plays, how it all obviously comes together. Can they run through that West Gauntlet? Can they win in the finals again if they get there? Because if Draymond remains with the Warriors through the upcoming season and then he exercises that player option, 27 million, 28 million, ballpark, Golden State would be looking at a roster bill of 483 million at least. Nearly $500 million. When we're talking luxury taxes here. I mean, it's just insane to wrap your head around. And they had a massive one that they just won the title with, but they have said, the owners there in Golden State, that they'd prefer not to go over that. Like, it's high as it is. Let's not go to the $500 million stage. So this is why it was always fascinating to see, are they picking? Is it Poole and Wiggins over Draymond, or what are they doing here? And they have time to figure it out, but it does feel like this could be Draymond's last year with the team, especially, as you said, with the younger guys in the forwards position coming up in the ranks. I think that makes sense.
Wiseman has had a heck of a preseason, but I don't see Draymond getting traded this season at all. I think he gets another run just out of a respect level, out of an importance level. The fact that he's a vet versus we're talking about guys who could replace him that are extremely young. Wiseman's barely been on an NBA floor, and the other guys, if we're talking Kuminga or somebody like that, not a lot of experience. I think he gets a full season, and even if he exercises that option, they could trade him next year and not have to pay that bill, which is for every dollar you sign a guy, you pay another $8 in luxury tax. It's a lot, but the Warriors have indicated that their bankroll is not unlimited. Mm-hmm. They let Gary Payton II go. They let Otto Porter go this past offseason because they didn't want to pay that 8-to-1 ratio. We're talking luxury tax. So I buy the Draymond gets this year, and I think he could say, I'm done. Exercise the player option, get me out of here. Even if they win a championship, it's a Kawhi-ish thing, but he's, it could be the end. He could want another big payday, and the Warriors are not going to give him a big payday. I think that's the clear indicator here. Like, not a 30 per for 4 more years. And do
you think Draymond could decline his player option and then try and sign a multi-year deal to stay with the Warriors for less? Wiggins like?
If it's $100 million, probably.
Yeah, it depends on the number.
Depends on the number, and depends on how he plays this year, too.
Yeah, well, listen,
they signed Clay to an extension when he was coming off of an injury, and then he got hurt again. So they gave him a kind of thanks for your service contract. Maybe they would do the same for Draymond. Here's a bold take. If Draymond leaves the Warriors after this season, Steph Curry will not win another title in Golden State. It's never good when management runs the stars out of a legacy team. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, but Draymond helped out with that sucker punch. And I think with the play as well. I think that's the big part of it here.
He was great in the finals after the first 2 games.
Yeah. It was a roller coaster to get there. He sat at the end of one game and came back in. He was good, but how good is he going to be at the age 33 and then 34? I got the math wrong. At the end of next year, he'll be 34. Same with Clay. With the coming of James Wiseman, he was good. He was good.
Wiseman can't pass like Draymond can. It gets a lot harder for Steph Curry if Draymond's around as well, I think, which is probably why they are so interested in having Poole there as a secondary creator, because Draymond does average 7 assists per game. He's a great passer, and nobody's better at finding Steph when he's open. Yeah. So, I don't know. I would be nervous if I'm the Warriors contemplating a Draymond-less future.
That's fair.
In other extension news here, the Grizzlies and Brandon Clark reached a 4-year, $52 million extension, so significantly less, of course, than your Poole and Wiggins, but he's at least in this stage of his career, half the player, I would say, of those guys. He averaged 10-5 and a block last year in 64 games. I thought he was really good. He was a key contributor during their playoff run too. I had forgotten that in 3 wins, Clark against the Wolves went for 20-8, 21-15, and then had a 17-11-5 game with 3 blocks in that Game 6 clincher. He had 3 really monster games. With the Jaren Jackson Jr. injury, he should get some more time here to start the season. So that seems like a pretty damn good deal. 4 for 52.
Seems fair, and he's going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. A good article on The Athletic from Fred Katz about Brandon Clark and his journey here. He wasn't a huge guy in high school. He had to struggle to get there. So I think he'll be better. And he's going to be coming off the bench, which is maybe surprising to some because Steven Adams is going to be starting. He's a backup 5. He ain't the backup 4. He's not taking Jared Jackson Jr.'s minutes as a starter. And they've got enough guys to make it happen. But cool for them to continue to pay guys. And, I'm in no bunts baseball mode, but I've got Alex Anthopoulos and what he's doing with the Braves and just signing guys really early to deals that they should be able to surpass in terms of their performance. And that's what it seems like Brandon Clark can do with this $12 million.
Any thoughts on the Grizz signing here, or contract extension, I should
This
say?
is going to be one of the best contracts in the league. As soon as the cap goes up, it's already a pretty small yearly number, and he's a really good player. Like, he might not be a starter long-term, but he's going to be with Jaren Jackson Jr. out to start the season. JJJ has missed time regularly during his career there with the Grizzlies, so I think it's smart to keep a solid backup big around in Brandon Clark as well. Maybe all that practice, he'll remember how to shoot three-pointers, because that's a really weird thing. Yeah, we're buzzing hard here, but at the very
boys
least,
are buzzing.
I feel
boy.
like he's a Montrezl Harrell type, but he can actually play defense, so good stuff.
All right, JD, not sure if... We'll ask the stream team if they're hearing that.
Well, I'm not hearing
They're
it,
not.
So.
They're not. We're
okay.
fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, well...
Yeah, just turning
Oh, wait a
down the
minute.
audio. We're
Maybe I
good.
am all of a sudden.
The Brooklyn Nets, I'll keep going here, announced on Sunday that guards Seth Curry and Joe Harris will not be ready for the regular season opener against the Pelicans as they continue their respective rehab plans. Seth Curry underwent off-season ankle surgery, and Joe Harris had 2 ankle surgeries last season, which limited him to just 14 games. So Royce O'Neal is going to get the start, and we'll see how long it takes for these guys to get back. But pretty instrumental if the Nets are going to be a real team this year.
They will need those guys for sure. It's gonna be something we're talking about. I think the first few weeks, they would take a lot of pressure off the big stars of the Brooklyn Nets. You may not want to be talking about the Brooklyn Nets the first few weeks of the season, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We're gonna be talking a lot about them, I think.
Any thoughts on this?
I don't think that Seth Curry and Joe Harris are make or break for the Brooklyn Nets, but I still can't believe I let you guys trick me into taking the over for this team. They've already got 3 of their top 10 guys are out of the rotation now, including TJ Warren. One of the top 10 is Ben Simmons, who hasn't played basketball in 16 months. 2 of the other ones are Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. So if any of those guys go down, it's a way bigger deal, but not a great start to the season for the Nets, especially the Joe Harris thing, man. He's been out for such a long time. And it feels like he probably won't get back to the Klay Thompson light kind of character he was early in his Nets career.
Should we get into our first question?
Let's do it, baby.
All right, first question. Hey, Dunksters. I had an interesting thought this weekend. Imagine the Lakers pan out even worse than many of us expect this year. There's a reasonable chance they become a lottery team. This means there's an actual statistical possibility they could wind up with the number 1 pick in next year's draft and win the Wembanyama sweepstakes. Imagine the best prospect in a generation going to one of the NBA's biggest and most glamorous franchises. That is, of course, until New Orleans gets their Anthony Davis pick swap from LA.
What a twist.
Snatches him away, which is exactly what would happen. I'm embarrassed to admit how much joy this realization brought to me when I played this out. I rarely take pleasure in the misfortune of others, but with the Lakers, I make an exception. What is your biggest NBA Schadenfreude moment of the last 20 years? Congrats on your 18 years. Been with you for all of them. That is from Jamario Moon Knight, which is a great name. Good question, and he's hoping this comes to fruition here. That the Lakers struggle that bad, win the number 1 pick, and here you go. Here you go, New Orleans.
Yeah, that's a tough question where you derive some pleasure from someone's pain in the National Basketball Association. But I think in 2011, Mavs Heat, it was the Heatles' first NBA Finals with LeBron and Dwayne Wade. After Game 4, Dirk played with an illness. It was the Game 5 shoot-around that morning. And shoot-around had just ended. Dwayne Wade and LeBron were walking down a hallway. Camera shoved in Dwayne Wade's face. And he performed for the camera and mocked Dirk Nowitzki. I got a sickness. And LeBron followed suit. So they were both mocking Dirk for playing with an illness when the series was 2-2. And in a way, I was kind of happy that the Heat lost because they acted like kids and mocked Dirk. And, I had one of those Wade and LeBron moments, too. I had a moment that I want to take back. Vince Carter was traded from the Toronto Raptors. In 2004, he went and played with the Nets. He came back to the Air Canada Centre. I was up in the nosebleeds back when you could pay a reasonable price for a seat in Air Canada. And he got on the floor. The arena was booing. It was a great, great game. He kicked the Raptors' ass. And at the end of it, I thought I'd throw in. I yelled out, "You'll never win anything, Vince!" And I feel bad about that because he never won anything. He never won. He did win my heart, and that's why he hurt me. He hurt me, and that's how I acted out. I responded in that manner. And so that was my Schadenfreude moment. But we all made up. Vince is cool with it. He heard me. And then he came on the starters a few times. And all good. And Wade and LeBron apologized for what they did. Young guys acting out in front of the camera there. But it's not a good clip. Not a good look for them.
Came back to bite him in the ass.
Came back to bite him in the ass.
What do you got, Trey?
Speaking of getting bit in the ass, for me, it was when the Paul Pierce wheelchair game story got revealed to be a potential poop pants story.
Yep.
Still unclear what really actually happened and why Paul Pierce had to go to the back, but I'm going to believe deep in my heart that it was a poop pants incident. And that coming out of like a classic, most iconic moment for a player who a lot of people like to root against, myself included. Very funny. That would be revealed as a possible reason. It's more than likely he just had to go back for any other reason, but that's the most fun one to believe in.
Yeah, it absolutely is. That's a fun question. If you've got answers, let us know in the stream team right now. Tweet them in at NoDunksInc or drop them in the comments section if you're watching this later on YouTube. JD still trying to figure out what the hell is going on here in the Classic Factory. We're happy.
Well, the good news is I don't think people are hearing it.
It's not. It's something with our connection just in our headphones where it's just.
All right, I'll creep around.
The boys are buzzing in the headphones for sure.
Yes.
But let's take our first break. Maybe JD can hopefully figure this out. And we got tons more questions here on Beach Steppin'. Don't go anywhere.
Licks. What the heck was that? Well, the first part was Danielle, my wife, during birth. That was her breathing pattern. And the second part was licks. That was me. I thought while she was giving birth that if I added in a licks at the end, it would remind her of how relaxed we are sleeping on our Helix mattress. And she thought that was
Licks. I get it.
and she thought that was the dumbest thing that she'd ever heard. Did that actually happen? No. But maybe I could have tried Midnight Lux, like our actual Helix bed type. Maybe that would have worked better than the Licks, because the Midnight Lux is one of Helix's 14 unique mattresses, including a collection of luxury models, a mattress for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress that's just made for kids. Listen, I think about my Midnight Lux and I get relaxed. Didn't work with Danielle, worked for me. Helix knows there's no better way, though, to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home, so you can order it. Get it to your house, and you have a 100-night risk-free trial. And you can send it back, no questions asked. Try out your new Helix mattress, see how your body adjusts, and if you decide it's not the best fit, you're welcome to return for a full refund. So I guess you guys aren't relaxed when I do the Lex.
I was stressing a little, to be quite honest with you. I wasn't sure what was going on there.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about starting an ASMR playlist on our YouTube channel, just making some noises. See if people latch onto that.
Noises.
Yeah, the Classic Factory is turning into an ASMR factory.
I like it.
We've got that buzz in our ears. Doesn't really work for ASMR.
Yeah, that's not putting me to sleep.
No, it's not. Helix will put you to sleep, though. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/nodunks. With Helix, better sleep starts now.
All right, back to the beach. Tass, you got our next one here. We got some great questions that everybody sent in. Send them in, nodunks@theathletic.com, or tweet them in at nodunksic.
Hola, No Dunks. Scotty Barnes will average a 25-point triple-double, lead the Raptors to a top 4 seed, and win Most Improved and MVP. What is one outlandish prediction you have for this season that would make you look like a wizard if it comes true? Josh W. bringing the Scotty Barnes prediction.
Wow.
A little much, but go for it, Josh. Go for it. Who else? Trey?
You're a wizard, Josh. Kirby, what do you got?
Nobody calls me by the last name.
I was going to say, you're a wizard, Kirby.
Okay.
Like you're a wizard, Harry?
Yeah. I'm familiar. For me, I think it would be the Bulls getting a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. I don't even think it's true. I don't actually think it's going to happen, but I had to say something about the Bulls because they're the least talked about team in the league right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything about the Bulls right now. Season ended poorly last year. They got blown out by the Bucks at the end of their playoff series. A large part of the reason that they came in, or that they struggled so much last year, was injuries. They're coming in injured this year, but it's like, can we get some mention on a single national podcast here? Look at their division.
Okay.
This is the saddest thing to me. Bucks come up all the time. They're a championship contender. Understandable. Cleveland Cavaliers, surprise team last year, traded for Donovan Mitchell. They get talked about all the time. Chicago Bulls finished second in the division last year. They were a good team. They've still got 2 All-Stars. You hear about them so much fewer than the Pacers, who are complete trash, and the Detroit Pistons, who might be exciting this year. Mm-hmm. You hear so much more about the Pacers and Pistons, and they're going to get as many wins as the Bulls get for this entire season combined. So the Bulls are going to finish number 4 in the Eastern Conference.
Wow.
What a wizard.
That is
Aloha Mora.
outlandish. But you are true
Lumos.
that they are not talked about a lot.
No, not at all. Even me, I'm not that excited to talk about him this year. I'm like, well, who knows?
I
Who
guess
knows?
a big part of it is like, they just didn't do anything in the offseason of any real note. So
They didn't do anything
You
very
can't
much.
even
Yeah.
debate like, oh, that'll be a game changer or that'll hurt them. Like there's just really nothing. Of course, the injuries and it's tough to top 4 would be crazy. That would be amazing, I think, especially when we've gone over all the Eastern Conference teams. But you can't. Yeah, outside of maybe they're a play-in team, it's tough to convince yourself otherwise. It's really weird. I'm with you on that one.
46 wins last year.
I know,
They were
right.
5 away from having home court in the first round. But it doesn't feel like that this year because the Cavs have likely passed them up with the Mitchell acquisition, not to mention just another year of growth. The Hawks could pass them up. I think that one's kind of still up in the air. Mm-hmm. The Raptors didn't do anything this year, but people are giving the Raptors a whole lot of respect, even though they got smoked in the playoffs last year as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the Raps aren't talked about a lot.
Not
either.
true. Raptors are talked about all the time because there's a big Canadian influence among NBA media with U2 and Zach Lowe. That's why the Raptors come up all the time.
Yeah, because I think they come up because they're disrespected amongst the non-Canadian media. So the Canadians got to stand up. They won 48 games last year and are healthier, and they should be a 50-win team. So the Canadians are standing up for the non-Canadians. On NBA TV, as I mentioned earlier, Brendan Haywood didn't have him as a postseason team. It's a repeat of Dennis Scott from last year with NBA TV. How do you not have him as a playoff team when they're healthier, unlike the Bulls, who it is surprising how little they're talked about considering they were a 46-win team last year. I would say we're talking wizardry. I'd say even the Magic are talked about more.
Exactly right. For sure they are.
As being a bad team. That'll go away in the first few weeks.
Probably true,
basically the Magic and Pacers, and to some degree the Pistons are talked about as which team is going to end up the 15th seed in the Eastern Conference. Mm-hmm. Really, that's what it's about. So that'll go away. But the Bulls, they're overlooked. It is wild. The Lonzo injury is a huge chunk of it, but they should be good. They should be solid, but I do think the Cleveland Cavaliers have passed them up, and that's why my prediction is the Cavs will be the 3 seed.
Okay.
It's not crazy,
outlandish,
but still, for them to be a 3 seed with the Bucks, Celtics, I think, I don't know, depending on how you look at things, would be the top 2 seeds for a lot of teams. I think it's going to be the Sixers and the Celtics, but that would mean if the Cavs are the 3 seed, that they're passing one of those teams. They're passing, either the Sixers plus the Heat, plus your Raptors, plus the Nets, obviously, plus the Bulls. So a 3rd place finish would be monstrous, and I could see that happening. 44-win team last year with a lot of injuries. Everybody was injured. And I think the chemistry is going to be so good and able to bring in Donovan Mitchell and ride it. I think it's going to be great. So a 50-win team, I do expect them to be, and they could be a top 4 seed. Let's go top 3. And Old Takes Exposed. It's not even good enough for an Old Takes Exposed.
But you just said you got the Raptors as a 50-win team.
Yeah.
And the Cavs.
Yeah.
I assume the Bucks.
Yeah.
And the Sixers.
Yeah. And the Celtics.
And the Celtics. 550-win teams.
550-win teams. How's that going to happen? I don't know.
And the Bulls are going to finish 4th in the Eastern Conference. It doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up. Well, those other teams are going to win 5 games each. The Magic, Pistons, Pacers, Hornets are going to be down there. It's a wild conference, but they'll all win 50, no more than 50, and the math should work out.
I'll stick with a team prediction here then as my outlandish prediction. I'll go to the West though. I feel like I'm the only one from the NBA media pundits that's a little higher on the Blazers than most people. Blazers are not getting a lot of love, and when they're talked about, it's like, they won't be able to stop anyone, and this will be another wasted year for Damian Lillard, blah, 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 blah. And I don't believe that. So I'm going to say the Blazers are the surprise team finishing in I'll go top 6, so they'll avoid the play-in. I don't know if that's outlandish. If you want to outlandish and maybe top 5, outlandish would be home court advantage. Even I don't believe that. But I'll say they actually get into the playoffs. So give me top 6.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't need to go over all the things I've said about them and why I believe in them, because we talked about them in our season preview predictions. A couple of times I went on my Blazers rant that I hate betting against a healthy Damian Lillard. I like the defensive pieces they have added in Gary Payton II, in Jeremy Grant. So I just I think they're being overlooked. I really think Damian Lillard is being overlooked. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because of his age, and he just didn't play because he had the serious injury there with the abdomen, but not me. So I'm high on the Blazers still.
Last 2 healthy seasons for Lillard, though, they were a play-in team, is the concern for me.
Yeah.
And they're kind of just going back to a slightly more balanced version of the Blazers team that they've had. They're kind of like the Bulls. You're like, we think you'll probably be okay. And that's kind of where they settle for me. So I think you would be a wizard. If they somehow end up in the top 6, I would be surprised.
Yeah,
okay.
And I do believe Damian Lillard, and a lot of it is athlete speak when you hear a guy say, it's the best I've ever felt in my career. But because it was an adductor abdominal sort of issue, it's somewhere in that abdominal wall. Yeah. It's not a knee, ankle, and he took off several months essentially just to get it right. At 32, does he feel his best? Maybe that's a little crazy, but I'm buying that he feels fresh for the first time in his career.
Reinvigorated.
Yeah, he should come out balling. He'll be scoring.
I'll give everybody an update in case you're curious. JD, you had it fixed for a hot second, and then you went back over to your station there and clicked a button, and then suddenly the buzz was back. It's crazy. Yeah, something you did over here, thumbs up, and then when you went back, it was back. So there you go. Anyway.
Stay under the desk is what.
Yeah, troll, get under there.
The troll.
All right, our next question. Hey, No Dunks. Let's pretend that just before the start of this coming NBA season, you fall into a coma. You then come out of the coma just after the NBA Finals, and you realize you missed everything. Someone then hands you a tablet, and you have 2 choices. You can watch the top 50 dunks of the season, or you can watch the top 50 assists of the season. You can only pick one. I don't know what's going on with this tablet that you can only watch one
single-use tablet
video on it. But the question is, which one are you going with? I feel like if you put up a poll, dunks would win in a landslide, but I think assists is the correct answer. This is from Kirk. Tass, you just woke up from the coma. Here's your tablet. And you're like, well, what happened? Let's see some highlights.
Yeah, I'm watching.
No, you don't ask how your family's doing. You don't ask what's going on.
Show me some plays.
Yeah. I said, okay, you got to pick though, man. I only got the data for one video to play.
If only Lee Ellis was here, he'd pick the top 50 free throws of the season. I'm going to be with the people, I hope. Trey just put up a poll on YouTube. It's got to be the dunks. Of course I love assists. Of course I do.
Yeah, same.
But I don't get why. I don't get why would you pick assists over the dunks? The moments that you will remember the most. I hope you're not in a coma. If you watch the 22-23 season, you're going to remember Anthony Edwards dunking on Utah Watanabe, or going back, the Blake dunks. Are you really going to remember the assists? No, you're going to remember them, misremember them, because you're in a coma. But you're going to remember, like, Wade to LeBron. That wasn't even an alley-oop. With the picture, the picture with Wade spreading his wings and LeBron over top of him, that wasn't an alley-oop. But you wanted it to be better. You know what's better than an assist? I'll tell you. A dunk. The jams.
A guy that hosts a show called No Dunks. He's
Yeah,
saying that.
yeah, you got to go James. Gotta
Okay.
go Dunks.
Okay. Trey, can you make the case for Dimes, or does it have to be Dunks?
Kirk makes a good case for Dimes. It could be the correct answer because when you're watching assists, they often lead to dunks. So you're seeing a bunch of dunks in a top 50 assists.
Yeah, usually.
But you should pick the dunks. It's the signature play in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watch those top 50 dunks. That's what people talk about.
Yeah, and I will I'll go with dunks here in this hypothetical in the poll or whatever, because the other part is, as much as I love a great assist, and like think of Jokic assists or LeBron or Luka over the last couple of years, or even some wild card ones. I always love a like a 50-foot like bounce pass that goes
Long
between
bounce
three
passes,
people.
nice.
I love it. Like that's sicko stuff. We love that stuff. But I will say, when you watch the top 50 assists, like the compilation, it should be like really top 20, maybe
go.
top 10 even. And it's like 50, you're getting some like somewhat generic dimes, I would say. Dunks, even the 50th best dunk is, I guess what I'm saying,
Yeah,
the 50th
for sure.
best dunk is going to be better than generally the 15th best assist of that season.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
'cause,
Deeper
you're
bag.
dunking on people usually is a big part of it. So I think it has to be dunks.
That's fair. Listen, I'm happy with the poll results.
Okay.
Call it right now.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
Oh, wow.
52 now for top 50 dunks. Uh-oh. Get a couple
yeah.
votes in here.
Yeah, so it's pretty close, and I say I'm happy with it because, as Eric K says here in the stream team, real sickos love assists. Our fans are sickos.
Yeah.
They love the
I agree.
basketball. I do agree. The sickos are get into the assists. You know why? Because everybody likes dunks, and then a lot of people like assists, but more people like dunks. So you're a sicko, and that's cool. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to enjoy the Jokic assist reel from this year. It's going to be ridiculous with guys like Bruce Brown running around, cutting everywhere, and Jamal Murray back. Yeah, that reel is going to be ridiculous. The dunk reel will be good too.
A part of this too is not all of them. I want to make that very clear, because some of these throws that they make, just pinpoint passes, and they're obviously just like they're giants, so they can do stuff that we can't even do because we're normal sized humans. But some of the passes you can do. You know what I mean? It's like you can throw a similar dime in a pickup run, and it's like that's amazing. Like I'm talking like over the heads, around the back, stuff like that, between traffic. You ain't doing these dunks. There's a handful maybe in the stream team that can, but most of us are not doing these dunks on other guys that are 6'7", 6'8". So that's a part of it too.
Agree.
There's that. But good question there. Kirk Gibson sent that in. He loves dingers.
Thanks, Kirk.
All right, what do you got?
Thanks, Kirk. You watching home runs or outfield assists, Kirk Gibson?
Ooh, this is an argument for outfield assists. They're very rare. People in the stream team trying to equate that angle, that assists are extremely rare. No, they're not. There's like one every play.
Well, I mean, sick highlight assist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next one here. It comes from Josh Mantis on Twitter. A specific question about a player. How good would OG Anunoby be if he didn't have such bad luck with injuries? I feel like every time he gets on a run, he gets hurt. Trey, you're right. We talk about the Raptors a lot,
Yeah.
I guess. And a specific OG Anunoby question. Skeets, you want this one?
I thought this was interesting because we just did, in our last season preview, make or break season for players. And we went over some stars like Anthony Davis and some other players that are like, DeAndre Hunter was my pick. Like, are they a really, really good player? Can they stay on the floor? And all that. I think OG could have been maybe on that list. Again, it's a bit of a stretch for make and break because even Hunter, he's going to have a long NBA career, but it's like, how good are you? And can you play? And so there's some similarities there. I'm just like trying to think what OG's ceiling is.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
where
question.
where does he top out as a player?
Well, I think Josh Mantis and a lot of the Raptors fan base think that he is Pascal Siakam part 2. And it's a reach.
It's a
He's
reach.
not doing it. He's not doing it. You break down the numbers when he's healthy, in isolation. He just doesn't have that type of game. He can't break guys down. That's just not him. He needs lanes. He needs to be set up. He's not going to break guys down. Done and done.
But the perfect, when healthy, third or fourth best player on your team.
Amazing, amazing. But people see the Pascal jump, a guy who wasn't a high pick, and they want OG to be in that same light. He's a different guy. He's obviously gotten hurt, but I don't think that really has. It's interrupted his flow, but I don't think it's really changed his game or hindered his game by any means. The Raptors show and Will Lou did a good job when I was listening to hours and hours of summer podcasting. They'd go on 4-hour banter runs when they would just chat about OG. The part of it was OG Anunoby and his growth, like Josh, people wondering where the heck it's going. And Will did a good job of breaking down the isolation numbers. And we were on a Raptor Show podcast. Somebody actually said, hey, what the heck? You guys were on a podcast? Trey, Tess, you're on the Raptor Show. Why don't you tell everybody? I guess we didn't tell people on the pod.
True. Yeah.
we got to be better at that. You know, we got to be better at
We
telling
retweeted
everyone.
it. Turn on your retweets.
Turn on your RTs.
Yeah, turn on your RTs.
Anyways, as
Wasn't a secret.
as a non-Raptors guy, what's OG's ceiling, you think, Trey?
I think he's at it. I think he's a really, really good starter. And I think if you want OG Anunoby to be more, it's taken away from Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, which is probably a problem for the Raptors at this point. His last healthy season really was 19-20, played 69 out of 72 games. Very nice. He had a jump his next season, his 4th year, but he's missed 30 or more games in each of those 2 seasons. He's up to 20% usage, so he's doing his part out there, 1/5 of the team, 17 points per game. He plays quality defense. I'm with Tass, and I'm with the Raptors show. He's not a great off-the-dribble player, but he's a solid catch-and-shoot three-pointer guy, and also can attack if the defense is already bent his way, but he just doesn't seem to have, like, a smooth dribble package. It's a little bit robotic out there, but he's a perfect third option on a team because he can do those things when the court is bent the way that he needs it to be bent. So, yeah, I mean, maybe as VanVleet and Siakam get a little bit older and relinquish some of the responsibility from the Raptors, he steps up a little bit more, but I think he's kind of what he is right now.
Yeah, I agree. If he steps up into that role, which he did at times last year, it doesn't end all that well. That's why his numbers, I think, were down last year.
You mean taking on a larger role when he was forced to?
He's a complimentary guy, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine.
His efficiency started to dip once he was asked to do more.
Exactly.
I think Eric Kareen was writing his predictions for The Athletic, and he actually wonders if Gary Trent Jr. could be a potential guy moved at the trade deadline when you're looking at the books for the Raptors, and I think OG could be as well. And that usage percentage that you said was like, 2021, is that going to be the same this year with Barnes taking on more of a role? And, Siakam, his even usage percentage was down over the last little bit compared to his championship run there. Gary Trent Jr. could take on a bigger role. Chua even, they may run stuff more through. I just wonder if that does go down. And maybe that's a good thing, though, for OG. Seriously. If he's happy with that.
If he's happy with that. Because there have been rumblings that he wasn't happy with that. Yeah.
They shot that down, but you're right.
Yeah. Well, who knows what's going on behind the scenes. But, yeah, Pascal just being healthy to start the season, too, limits what OG can do. And Mr. Scotty Barnes, that's a big factor.
That's the big one, and which is why I'm almost more convinced if the Raptors were to move one of those two, Gary Trent Jr. or OG, feels like your bases are covered more moving OG because you have Scotty Barnes sort of in that role.
Yeah,
that's my thinking, and the Raptors desperately need shooting, and Gary Trent Jr. is one of their best shooters. So
he's not 6'9". So you move on from him because everybody else is. There's a prototype there with the Raptors, but I think it's still kumbaya. I think they're all still happy to play together, and this is going to be a 50-win team, baby.
Yeah. People start to become unhappy with the roles when the L's start piling up, and then you're like, hey, what if I had more of the ball or more responsibility? We wouldn't be losing these games. That's just natural reaction. But if you're winning, then everyone's basically on board. Good question there, Josh.
Great question,
Specific
Josh.
Question. None of us picked OG for MIP though, which was good. We've learned because that was a
I think I had
thing.
him 2 years ago.
Yeah. There was a most improved for OG. It felt like 3 years running. I don't think I've seen many this year.
I picked him one year specifically because he did between the legs, bop, 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 bop dribble. It looked exactly like Kawhi Leonard. I was like, well, this guy's the next Kawhi Leonard.
Geez.
One clip. That's all it took.
I guess if you came out of a coma, you'd want to see the dribble packages.
Top 50 between the legs dribbles.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. Next one. Howdy, No Dunkers. I was listening to the newly released Red Hot Chili Peppers album this week. There's a new album out, and I only knew that because my buddy Grish just told me. What?
They put out 2 records in 2022?
Yeah. They must have just done a ton of recordings, and they're like, I'll just split it into 2 albums. Anyway.
Unlimited Love and Return of the Dream Canteen.
Okay.
Turn up the dream.
So anyway, that dropped, and this person, Jacob, was listening to it in between our season previews, and Jacob began to draw parallels between NBA teams and musical acts. The best one I could come up with was the Rolling Stones and the Lakers. Certainly, both are past their primes, but you would still jump at the chance to watch LeBron/Mick while you can. Would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Jacked to start my 8th year of listening to the podcast. Jacob from Southern Illinois. Your neck of the woods there, Traker. Well, your state.
My state, yeah. I mean, is he Southern Illinois University? Is he just the south part of the state?
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Danville. I got a good answer for this one, though. The Celtics are Vampire Weekend. Because... Like, the Celtics are a young team, but they've been around for a while, and I feel like that's kind of the same case for Vampire Weekend. They all still have very dark hair, not a lot of grays, unlike in this studio. Just like the Celtics, everything that Vampire Weekend does is at least good. Like, they put out 4 quality records. They hail from the Northeast, and both the Celtics and Vampire Weekend have a ton of white fans.
Yes.
Yeah, mostly, I would say. Probably.
Okay. Celtics are Vampire Weekend.
Okay, I went a
good.
different direction with the Celtics. The Celtics are the OJs because the Jays make me say, oh. Also, the Knicks are Mumford and Sons because there's a tampering investigation into whether Rick Brunson's presence got Jalen Brunson there, but the Knicks have kept Mumford and Sons about the situation. And the Utah Jazz...
Shit, that's one of your wildest ones.
Yeah, and the Utah...
He's deep in the back like the fries are at the bottom.
That's next level for you.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's not as good. The Utah Jazz are... That one was good. This one's not as good. The Utah Jazz are Steely Dan because Danny Ainge is so hard to deal with. They call him Steely Dan. Yeah, he's a tough cracker. So there
You just wanted to fire up the pun gun.
Yeah.
A day before the
Trey
NBA
went,
season starts.
Trey went deeper with the Vamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
There you
good
go.
stuff. Somebody said, what just happened in the stream team? It blew some people's minds there.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Get your comparisons in, though. Musical acts to NBA teams. So you can either get punny with it like Tass or more of like the parallels that Trey drew there and our listener, Jacob, sent in there.
You know what?
Fun question.
What's good about the stream team? Sometimes it feels like there's a live studio audience because Robert Herrero just said, "Boo!"
Oh, wow.
Respect.
Throwing
Respect.
tomatoes
That
at
feels
you?
good. That felt good. I feel alive. Getting live stream booed. That was for me. It wasn't for you.
You got to get a response, is what you're saying. Any response is great. You're like a wrestler.
Yeah, well,
Gotta get that heat.
That's fair.
It's when they sit there and don't do anything.
Oh
You don't want that.
no,
You want them cheering you,
Yeah.
booing you.
like Renee Paquette coming out to Toronto crowd. She's
Right.
back.
Big pop for Renee. Especially.
No more Renee Young. Get out of here.
Yeah, real names
right,
only.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gives
yeah.
that Canadian name.
All right, we got to take one more break. When we come back, a few more questions on the beach.
Bad news, meatballs. If you've ever wondered whether your CBD was working, that means it probably wasn't. Sorry, but it's true. And that's probably because it wasn't absorbing right, you fool. Which is why Next Evo Naturals developed Smart Sorb technology, clinically proven to help your body absorb CBD 4 times better than regular CBD oil. Because oil and water don't mix, and newsflash, your body is water-based. You meatball. Smart Sorb technology improves CBD's ability to be absorbed, getting into your system in as little as 10 minutes. Next Evo Naturals are scientifically formulated to deliver more CBD in a way your body can actually use. And yes, it's clinically proven to have 4 times better absorption. So step your absorption up and get your supply of Next Evo Naturals Revive CBD Complex today. The clinically proven Smart Sorb CBD is combined with Next Evo Naturals' patented curcumin blend to promote a healthy inflammatory response and help you feel restored.
Step your absorption game up.
Step it up, meatballs! Get up to 25% off when you subscribe and spend $40 or more at nextevo.com/recover with promo code NODUNKS. That's nextevo.com/recover. Promo code NODUNKS.
Some great responses to trying to find parallels between NBA teams and
What do you got?
musical acts. Well,
That's hard. That's a hard one.
well, it's the stream team coming through here. Greg says OKC are Nickelback. they're full of Canadians and people hate on them even though they're not that bad. All right.
But then I see Jamero Moon Knight.
good.
The Pacers are Nickelback.
Yeah, wow. Oof. But somebody else said, I'm trying to find who said it, but couldn't you see Presty saying, "Look at this graph"?
I like
That's
that.
pretty good. Shout out to whoever said that. I can't find where the heck it is. What else we got here? The
like
Pistons are Nirvana. There's a lot of just people saying things and not giving their reasoning.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need a reason.
Yeah. No, I like the ones that just say it and then they're like, nah. What else we got? Dallas Mavericks are Cyndi Lauper. I don't know why. Okay.
The 2021 Lakers are the traveling Wilburys. I mean, I guess they got together a lot of famous musicians or famous basketball players, but the Traveling Wilburys had some bangers. I don't know if the Lakers had any bangers last season.
Yeah, and then the Bulls are Blink 182 because they're back, says Belinda Jane. Blink 182 is back. You guys were talking about it on Is This Good, I heard.
Yeah, and it was actually nice that Matt sent in, 5 songs that we were going to have to choose which was his favorite, because there are 5 good Blink 182 songs. It was nice to hear them again.
Yep. You have
I didn't know that.
The Wilburys joke is that they're old, right? They're all stars and they're super old.
Yeah,
Are they?
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, a fair comparison. I guess I'm just saying I thought the Traveling Wilburys experiment went better than the Lakers one
Oh
did.
yeah, that's very true.
Steppin says the Heat are royal blood. They're doing a lot with just 2 instruments.
Okay.
I wish I understood that reference. Yeah. But it's got a good reason at least.
It's a two-man group.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, the 2-man group. I saw that once.
Is anyone the Blue Man Group?
They're always banging on trash cans. Who's that? Oh, Houston Astros.
Nice.
Okay.
I mean, they're quiet.
Let's move.
Maybe they're the Clippers. Quiet's quiet.
Okay, let's go
They
to our
don't talk.
next cue. A couple more before we wrap this bad boy up.
Yo, I asked my buddy Grant, a longtime No Dunks fan, this the other day, but got no response. I got Glenn Big Dog Robinson as Poor Man's Mellow and Kevin Durant as Rich Man's Mellow.
So what's Grant supposed to say to that?
Yeah.
Everybody's a mellow somehow.
I'm feeling you, Grant. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that text? Sure, Bobby. Anyway, all scoring forwards, athleticism, production, and accomplishments level up at each iteration. What's another poor man, middle class man, rich man triumvirate that you think about? That from the Jing, according to Bobby, Nanjing, China. Thank you, Bobby.
Okay.
For sending that baby in.
So
you got a poor man, you got a middle class man, and a rich man.
And right, and so he told his buddy Grant that it goes Big Dog Glenn Robinson to Mello to Kevin Durant. That is your
Yeah.
progression. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Big Dog could have been better, but he wasn't.
That's pretty fair, actually.
bad. Yeah.
No, it's not bad.
It's definitely fair to say Glenn Robinson was a poor man's Mello. I'm not upset with that. You know.
Yeah, a lot of jab steps.
I've got 3 names, and I'm struggling to put them in the order. I think Trey might have an opinion on this. So I feel like I have somewhere here a poor man, a middle man, and a rich man.
Okay.
The 3 names, I'll throw them in alphabetical order. Last name: Penny Hardaway, John Morant, Derrick Rose.
Ooh,
I
that's a tough call. Wow, that's a tough call.
maybe this isn't a good answer. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I don't have a poor man. I don't know. I mean, I could throw that at the stream team too. What's the order there?
Who are you pouring out of that
Penny,
one?
young D Rose, of course, and then John Morant, current John Morant. Who's the rich man of the group?
Well, if you're only counting when they were at their primes, it's Derrick Rose.
Got to be Rose. Yeah.
I would go probably Penny, Ja, Rose, with the future considerations that Rose and Ja will switch.
This is what I think. So I actually would have Rose. That's my thinking. Rose will be my middleman because I'm projecting John Morant's career, and then Penny will be the poor man's, and a lot of it because of injury. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
That's a good one.
You got to put Penny in the poor man role,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
unfortunately, yeah.
just because of injuries. So I threw my triumvirate together as well. My poor man is Justice Winslow. My middle class man is Andre Iguodala. And my rich man is Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in a different world, Justice Winslow is not done. He's not done.
I will say that's a very poor man's.
Iguodala?
Yeah.
Yeah. but it's a poor man.
Yeah,
it's clear.
it's poor.
It's clear he's the poor man, but he plays the same game, and I still have hope, but Iguodala and Pippen, it's similar. Like if Iguodala stayed in that more of a 1-2 role like he had in Philadelphia, maybe he could have scored more like Scotty did. But I actually watched an interview between Scotty and Iguodala because there have been a lot of comparisons between the two, and it was an ESPN interview where Scotty said, "You remind me of me when you were with Philadelphia more so than with Golden State because you're doing some scoring more." And Iguodala said what Trey just said about OG Anunoby and why he picked him for most improved. Andre Iguodala said, "I got more of that like left to right dribbles, more of that package than you did. You're a straight to the rim guy." But yeah, that's my poor class, middle class, rich man. I don't.
That's good.
It's interesting because Iguodala could be a Hall of Famer in that middle class role.
Yeah.
But Pippen's more of a rich man's Hall of Famer. I
Okay.
guess.
Okay. Do you have one, Trey?
Yeah, the 3 players I've stolen the most from my game. Brad Miller is a poor man's Pau Gasol.
Right.
Nikola Jokic is a rich man's Pau Gasol.
Okay,
And they're all like, a tall guy who's going to shoot a 3-pointer. Brad Miller would only do it from the top of the key. He could only throw a backdoor bounce pass. Then we got to Pau Gasol. He can hit a 3 from also the wing and maybe handle the ball, bringing it up the court. And then, of course, we have Nikola Jokic, who is the best offensive big man that we've seen doing crazy moves out there, great handles, and at the top of the 50 best assists every single year.
There you go. He is, for sure. Those are all great guys. And also multiple people saying Seth Curry to Del Curry to Steph Curry. The Curry iteration. Seth Curry is a poor man's Del Curry, and Steph Curry is a rich man's Del Curry. Yeah. Wild that the dad's in the middle, if you believe that. Fun stuff from the stream team. All right, final one here, I believe. No, we got 2 more. Why not? Hey, finger rollers, pickle pizza, pickle pasta, pickle nachos, deep fried pickles, and pickleball are all huge hits here in Nova Scotia. If you haven't tried each of these, I suggest you do. Thanks for the laughs and the NBA content. Jab step, 2 hard dribbles, finger roll. It's from E. Fletcher, letting us know that they're up in Nova Scotia. They're Team Pickle.
Pickle on everything.
Holy crap.
Pickle pizza I would do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Sounds a little weird. Definitely
I would
sounds a
try
little
it.
weird, but you like a pickled jalapeno on a pizza? Pretty good. It's going to be a little bit different. Pickle pasta sounds. That seems like the craziest ask to me. I've had a deep fried pickle. They're good. I will say a little underwhelming. I always think they're going to be a little bit better, but they're fine. Pickle nachos, okay. Same as throwing a jalapeno on a piece of pizza, but pickle pasta seems very pickle forward.
Yeah.
We shall
Maybe.
see.
You haven't tried any of these?
No.
No.
Deep fried pickles. No, not like a full deep fried pickle.
From a country fair.
A fried sliced pickle.
Isn't that a fair thing? I don't know.
I guess.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
Or
Deep fried
you get it.
Yeah, you can have it as an
they
app
have
too.
it. They have it in pubs and
Really?
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've
I
never
was just
had
up
it.
there this summer.
Okay.
The pasta. Are they talking like
Yeah, what happened?
making the pasta like zucchini pasta? Like
Ooh, like
I think so.
Oh,
Really?
probably.
Ooh, that'd be
wild.
That's a lot. That's a lot of pickle.
I don't know. I think when it's made into pasta that it wouldn't be that pickle forward.
It can't be like that.
No, it's like what part of the pickle gets
Yeah.
sliced into that, gets peeled into that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But a zucchini can make it happen because of its firmness. So what is the pickle pasta?
Yeah, I don't know.
I googled pickle pasta, and the main recipes that are coming up are dill pickle pasta salad, which is probably good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
that's
it's kind of like
good.
a
I'd eat
slaw a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's probably what he means.
Yeah.
I hate pasta
hot pickle,
salad.
hot pickle pasta. I don't know.
Cold pasta. I'm not a fan of.
You
about
don't like pasta
orzo?
salad?
No.
No orzo?
I really dislike it. It's texture. It's the cold.
Fair.
Lube up.
But JD, big news. I tried pickleball.
Ooh.
I played pickleball on Friday for the first time.
I told Rachel, actually. I saw it in the Slack,
Yeah.
and she was more excited than I've ever seen her about anything.
Your wife
I
was
gotta play.
excited I was playing
Yeah,
pickleball.
because it's another person in her network of people that she could play pickleball with. She's legit obsessed now.
Really?
Yeah. We're going for a pickleball lesson tomorrow morning.
Lessons.
We're getting a lesson, and then I come back here to do the show, and she's going to play pickleball at the Y for an hour and a half.
Holy.
Throwing down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, it was. I enjoyed it.
it's fun.
Yeah. I need to play a couple more times before I give you guys the full report.
Yeah.
But I was actually thrown into the deep end. I was playing with people that were like pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So it was a steep learning curve, but trying to hang out there. I could at least serve and get it back, but man, you got to keep your feet out of the kitchen.
You got to keep it out of the kitchen.
Stay out of the kitchen. It's tough. You want to go to the net. You got to go to the net. But you can't get too close.
But you can't get too
But then when the ball goes in the kitchen, you can go in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, then you got to get out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Very confusing.
Did you see the clip of Dirk nailing a pickleball shot?
No.
I'm not sure what he did. I saw it in passing, and I was like, God damn, Dirk. Like, you already look big on a pickleball court, but he just looked massive. And I think he was playing with his brother or something, or I don't know.
Like the reach they would have.
Oh, my God.
It's insane.
Yeah, I was like, crazy. So I'm not surprised LeBron bought a team.
All right. So pickleball podcast coming soon.
It's got, as if Rachel has anything to do with it, she's starting to. No dinks coming soon.
No dinks. I love it. All right.
Oh, I got a really dumb, quick pickleball question because I've read so much about pickleball, and I don't have this answer. What's the ball?
It's a wiffle ball, basically. Yeah. There are apparently different indoor and outdoor pickleballs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The size of the holes in the ball, but it's a wiffle ball. It bounces though,
But not like a tennis ball. It's very different.
Yeah.
If you play tennis, tennis players struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
The scoring is weird though. I remember you were saying that, JD. Takes a little bit because if you're playing twos, or maybe even if you're not, you get like 2 serves and you only score a point if you're serving. Like classic old school volleyball rules there, but it's like how you call it out, like it's 3-5-2.
Right. And then who's 2 again?
Yeah.
And it switches.
Yeah, exactly.
That's confusing. But
anyway,
you'll get the hang of it.
Pickleball. Bonus question here, guys. We're going to end with this because we're talking about other sports. Gregorio, by way of YouTube, sent this one in. So we do see them, guys. What would be the best ball to hoop with from another sport?
All right, I'm ruling out football. Ruling out hockey puck.
Ball from
No offense, but I don't think we're gonna do it either of those.
Okay, what's the short list?
Short list, I would say volleyball.
Yeah.
You said soccer ball.
Yeah, I think it's got to be on the short list.
It's on the short list.
Yeah.
Size-wise, it's right there.
Yeah.
Tennis ball, too crazy, too small.
Too crazy.
The bounce is nice. The bounce is a factor to me. So I think for a combination of size, grip, and bounce factor, gotta be volleyball.
You're going volleyball?
Yeah.
So you're in a pinch, nobody brought a ball. Leah's traveled to the other side of the globe, purposely didn't bring a ball, and then no one has a basketball, and they're like, what are we playing with?
Bring a volleyball, I guess. Yeah,
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, and there's something that's in the exact same family is a handball ball. When you're watching the Olympics and they're throwing that ball
It's
around.
like a mini ball, right?
They can handle it. They bounce it. So I just figure like it's the same.
It's a good point. Yeah.
How big is it? I guess it's like a mini
I think it's like a
basketball?
mini ball. Yeah, like
Smaller than a volleyball,
maybe
then.
even a little smaller. Yeah. You remember like you'd go like
Oh yeah, of course.
those mini balls. We always played with
My
them.
answer is mini ball.
Okay.
Smaller basketball.
WNBA ball.
I see a lot of people saying a kickball or a dodgeball ball, like just that you play sports in middle school gym class.
Yeah, like a big red ball.
Big red
but
ball.
is that going to fit through the hoop? Like, I guess it's not that.
That's
big.
probably if you get the right
I
size.
would.
That's
It's
a good
not
one.
that
That's a
big.
pretty good choice.
Yeah. Okay. Gregorio, what a question. I mean, we were debating before we went live. Like you were like sort of volleyball right away, and I did want to make the case for soccer ball. I think you're just worried about the bouncing of a soccer ball.
Yeah, it's tough. It would be tough to dribble a soccer ball, I think. But
I like
guess
the
in
weight
that-
of a soccer ball more than a volleyball, putting it on the rim.
That's a great point.
Right?
If you've got a rack of them, if you got a rack at 3-point contests,
Yeah.
no basketballs, fill them with soccer balls.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a game, it's about a volleyball, baby.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's exactly right. And then what about bowling balls?
That's for building finger strength for the upcoming season.
Wow.
Did y'all ever have that like weighted medicine ball that was just like a slightly heavier version of a basketball?
Yeah.
That was a weird thing to practice with.
Yeah.
It looked like the oldest basketball of all time. Just throw this around. All right, Mr. Buck, if you say so.
Oh yeah, like an exercise ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like a huge one. That wouldn't fit in the rim.
You just have to play like old peach basket rules. You get it on top. If it sits on top of the rim and somebody comes and
Balance ball.
broomsticks it out.
Nice.
Dodgeballs, people are saying. I think that's
the red
rubber
ball.
one, in my opinion. But all right. What a random weird question to end with. But that's beach stepping, and you guys can send them in to nodunks@theathletic.com. Your NBA, non-NBA, or NBA adjacent questions. Tweet them in at NoDunksInc. That's INC on the end. Or leave them in the YouTube comments if you're feeling frisky. Before we go, send in our best. Send in some love to Dikembe Mutombo, who is undergoing treatment for a brain tumor, and Nate Robinson, who is undergoing treatment for kidney failure. So send in love to both those guys who we've had the honor to talk to before.
Absolutely, yeah.
And some of our favorites, if I'm being completely honest.
Completely
They were both
true.
incredible interviews on our old shows. So
yeah, did not like hearing that news from either camp there.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're both recovering as we speak.
So that's it for today's show. Like I said, back tomorrow. NBA tiers. What does it mean? Are we crying? Or are we ranking the teams in particular tiers? We'll figure it out. 10 a.m. Eastern, live tomorrow here from the Classic Factory. And then we got No Bunts, and we're jumping on the Athletic NBA stream to get ready for these games tomorrow night. And we got our own pregame show at 6:45. And my God, then we're actually watching basketball that matters. And hopefully we get a wedgie tomorrow night. I'd like to start the season with a bang.
That'd be huge.
Yeah, exactly. So keep sending in your questions. Like, subscribe if you haven't done that already. We thank you so much for joining us here today. We will see you guys tomorrow morning. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, I'm with KB13 here in the stream team. Justice Winslow looked decent on the Blaze. Yeah, decent, baby. Don't give up. Don't give up. He's still there. He's a poor man's Iguodala, who's a poor man's Pippen. I know. I guess he's not. I guess whatever that terminology. Poor man, medium man, rich man.
Medium.
I'm a medium man myself.
Doing all that I can.
All right. Go get your medium man t-shirts over at nodunks.com. Brace the day, people.
I need a large for my buddy Wade.